Basra, also written Basra, is the capital of Basra Governorate, located on the Shatt el-Arab River in southern Iraq between Kuwait and Iran. It had an estimated population of 952,441 as of 2007, and 3.5 million of 2012. Basra is also Iraq's main port, although it does not have deep water access, which is handled at the port of Qasr. The city is part of the historic location of Sumer, the home of Sinbad the Sailor, and a proposed location of the Garden of Eden. It played an important role in early Islamic history and was built in 636 AD or 14 AH. It is Iraq's second largest and most populous city after Baghdad. Basra is consistently one of the hottest cities on the planet, with summer temperatures regularly exceeding 45 degrees Celsius. Etymology: the city was called by many names throughout its history, Basra being the most common. In Arabic the word Basra means the overwatcher, which might have been an allusion to the city's origin as an Arab military base against the Sassanids. Some sources claim that the name is derived from the Persian word Basrah, which means, where many paths meet. Others have argued that the name is derived from the Aramaic word Basrah, meaning place of huts or settlement. During the pre-Islamic era, the area was known to the Arabs as Al-Karaba due to the existence of an ancient city called Al-Kaaba. After the present city was built, it was called by many names, including the Mother of Iraq, the Reservoir of Arabs, the Prosperous City, and Al-Fayha. History. Ancient times. The present city was founded in 636 as an encampment and garrison for Arab tribesmen constituting the armies of the Rashidun Caliph Umar a few kilometers south of the present city, where a tell still marks its site. While defeating the forces of the Sassanid Empire there, the Muslim commander Utbah ibn Aswan erected his camp on the site of an old Persian settlement called Vahiyat Abadiyada Infinite R, which was destroyed by the Arabs. The name al-Basra, which in Arabic means the overwatching, or the seeing everything, was given to it because of its role as a military base against the Sassanid Empire. However, other sources claim the name originates from the Persian word Basrah or Basura meaning, where many ways come together. In 639 Umar established this encampment as a city with 5 districts, and appointed Abu Musa al-Ash'ari as its first governor. Abu Musa led the conquest of Khuzestan from 639 to 642 and was ordered by Umar to aid Uthman ibn Abu al-As, then fighting Iran from a new, more easterly Mir to the first pounder at Tawaj in 650. The Rashidun Caliph Uthman reorganized the Persian frontier, installed Abdullah ibn Amir as Basra's governor, and put the military's southern wing under Basra's control. Ibn Amir led his forces to their final victory over Yazdegerd III, the Sassanid king of kings. In 656, Uthman was murdered and Ali was appointed caliph. Ali first installed Uthman ibn Hanif as Basra's governor, who was followed by Abdullah ibn Abbas. These men held the city for Ali until the latter's death in 661. The Sufyanids held Basra until Yazid I's death in 683. The Sufyanids' first governor was Umayyad Abdullah, a renowned military leader, commanding fealty and financial demands from Kabul, but poor governor. In 664, Muawiyah replaced him with Ziyad ibn Abi Sufyan, often called Ibn Abi, who became infamous for draconian rules of public order. On Ziyad's death in 673, his son Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad became governor. In 680, Yazid I ordered Ubaydullah to keep order in Kufa as a reaction to Hussein ibn Ali's popularity as the grandson of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. Ubaydullah took over the control of Kufa. Hussein sent his cousin as an ambassador to the people of Kufa, but Ubaydullah executed Hussein's cousin Muslim ibn Aqil amid fears of an uprising. Ubaydullah amassed an army of thousands of soldiers and fought Hussein's army of approximately 70 in a place called Karbala near Kufa. Ubaydullah's army was victorious. Hussein and his followers were killed and their heads were sent to Yazid as proof. Ibn al-Harith spent his year in office trying to put down Nafi ibn al-Azraq's Karaite uprising in Khuzestan. In 685, Ibn al-Zubair, requiring a practical ruler, appointed Umar ibn Ubayd Allah ibn Maymah. Finally, Ibn al-Zubayr appointed his own brother Musab. In 686, the revolutionary al-Mukhtar led an insurrection at Kufa, and put an end to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad near Mosul. In 687, Musab defeated al-Mukhtar with the help of Kufans whom Mukhtar exiled. Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan reconquered Basra in 691, and Basra remained loyal to his governor al-Hajjaj during Ibn Ash'ath's mutiny 699–702. However, Basra did support the rebellion of Yazid ibn al-Muhallab against Yazid II during the 720s. In the 740s, Basra fell to as Safa of the Abbasid Caliphate. During the time of the Abbasids, Basra became an intellectual center as it was the home city of the Arab polymath Ibn al-Haytham, the Arab literary giant al-Jahiz, and the Sufi mystic Rabi' Basri. The Zanj rebellion by the agricultural slaves of the lowlands affected the area. In 871, the Zanj sacked Basra. In 923, the Kamishans, an extremist Muslim sect, invaded and devastated Basra. From 945 to 1055, Ubayd dynasty ruled Baghdad and most of Iraq. Abu al-Qasim al-Baridis, who still controlled Basra and Wasit, were defeated and their lands taken by the Buyids in 947. Sanad al-Dawla al-Habashi was governor of Basra and built a library of 15,000 books. Dia al-Dawla was the Buyid ruler of Basra during the 980s. He was the son of Adad al-Dawla, see Samsam al-Dawla, as there appears to have been a great deal of rivalry in the ad-Dawla group. Middle Ages, the Great Friday Mosque was constructed in Basra. In 1122, Imad ad-Din Zanji received Basra as a fief. In 1126, Zanji suppressed a revolt and in 1129, Dabius looted the Basra state treasury. A 1200 map on the eve of the Mongol invasions showed the Abbasid Caliphate as ruling Lower Iraq and, presumably, Basra. In 1258, the Mongols under Hulagu Khan sacked Baghdad and ended Abbasid rule. By some accounts, Basra capitulated to the Mongols to avoid a massacre. The Mamluk Bahri dynasty map shows Basra as being under their area of control, and the Mongol dominions map shows Basra as being under their control. In 1290 fighting erupted at the Persian Gulf port of Basra among the Genoese, between the Guelph and the Ibeline factions. In 1327, Ibn Battuta visited Basra, which was in decline with the Great Mosque being 3 kilometers out of town. An Ilkhanate governor received him. In 1411, the Jalawirid leader was ousted from Basra by the Black Sheep Turkmen. In 1523, the Portuguese under the command of Antiqubt Niotin Rayra crossed from Aleppo to Basra. By 1546, the Turks had reached Basra. In 1550, the Portuguese threatened Basra. In 1624, the Portuguese assisted Basra Pasha in repelling a Persian invasion. The Portuguese were granted a share of customs and freedom from tolls. From about 1625 until 1668, Basra and the Delta marshlands were in the hands of local chieftains independent of the Ottoman administration at Baghdad. Ottoman Empire. Basra was, for a long time, a flourishing commercial and cultural center. It was captured by the Ottoman Empire in 1668. It was fought over by Turks and Persians and was the scene of repeated attempts at resistance. The Zand dynasty under Karim Khan Zand briefly occupied Basra after a long siege in 1775 September. Zand introduced Shia religious practices in Basra. In 1911, the Encyclopaedia Britannica reported some Jews and a few Christians living in Basra, but no Turks other than Ottoman officials. In 1884 the Ottomans responded to local pressure from the Shahs of the south by detaching the southern districts of the Baghdad Vilayet and creating a new Vilayet of Basra. World Wars. After the Battle of Basra during World War I, the occupying British modernized the port. These British commercial interests made it one of the most important ports in the Persian Gulf with shipping and trade links to the Far East. During World War II it was an important port through which flowed much of the equipment and supplies sent to Russia by the other Allies. At the end of the Second World War, the population was some 93,000 people. Post-1945, The University of Basra was founded in 1964. By 1977, the population had risen to a peak population of some 1.5 million. The population declined during the Iran-Iraq War, being under 900,000 in the late 1980s, possibly reaching a low point of just over 400,000 during the worst of the war. The city was repeatedly shelled by Iran and was the site of many fierce battles, such as Operation Ramadan and Operation Karbala 5. After the war, Saddam erected 99 memorial statues to Iraqi generals and commanders killed during the war along the bank of the Shatt el-Arab River, all pointing their fingers towards Iran. After the First Persian Gulf War, which the U.S. called Operation Desert Storm, in 1991, a rebellion struck Basra. The widespread revolt was against Saddam Hussein, who violently put down the rebellion, with much death and destruction inflicted on Basra. 1999, Second Revolt. On January 25, 1999, Basra was the scene of scores of civilian casualties when a missile fired by a U.S. warplane was dropped in a civilian area. 11 persons were killed and 59 injured. General Anthony Zinni, then commander of U.S. forces in the Persian Gulf, acknowledged that it was possible that a missile may have been errant. While such casualty numbers pale in comparison to later events, the bombing occurred one day after Arab foreign ministers, meeting in Egypt, refused to condemn 4 days of airstrikes against Iraq in December 1998. This was described by Iraqi Information Minister Human Abdel Khaliq as giving the United States and Britain an Arab green card to attack Iraq. A second revolt in 1999 led to mass executions in and around Basra. Subsequently, the Iraqi government deliberately neglected the city, and much commerce was diverted to Qasr. These alleged abuses are to feature amongst the charges against the former regime to be considered by the Iraq Special Tribunals set up by the Iraq interim government following the 2003 invasion. Workers in Basra's oil industry have been involved in extensive organization and labor conflict. They held a 2-day strike in August 2003, and formed the nucleus of the Independent General Union of Oil Employees in June 2004. The union held a 1-day strike in July 2005, and publicly opposes plans for privatizing the industry. 2003, Iraq War and Occupation. In March through to May 2003, the outskirts of Basra were the scene of some of the heaviest fighting in the 2003 invasion of Iraq. British forces, led by the 7th Armoured Brigade, took the city on April 6, 2003. This city was the first stop for the United States and the United Kingdom during the 2003 invasion of Iraq. During the invasion, claims that British forces took down the 99 memorial statues of deceased Iraqi officers erected after the end of the Iran-Iraq War are false, as these statues were in fact taken down by locals for their scrap metal value. On April 21, 2004, a series of bomb blasts ripped through the city, killing 74 people. The multinational division, under British command, is engaged in security and stabilization missions in Basra Governorate and surrounding areas. Political groups and their ideology which are strong in Basra are reported to have close links with political parties already in power in the Iraqi government, despite opposition from Iraqi Sunnis and the more secular Kurds. January 2005 elections saw several radical politicians gain office, supported by religious parties. American journalist Stephen Vincent, who had been researching and reporting on corruption and militia activity in the city, was kidnapped and killed on August 2, 2005. On September 19, 2005, 2 undercover British SAS soldiers disguised in Arab civilian clothes and headdresses opened fire on Iraqi police officers after having been stopped at a roadblock, killing at least 1. After being arrested, the British Army raided the jail they were being held in to rescue them, killing several people from among their nominal allies the Iraqi security forces. British troops transferred control of Basra province to the Iraqi authorities in 2007, 4.5 years after the invasion. A BBC survey of local residents finds that 86% think the presence of British troops since 2003 has had an overall negative effect on the province. Abdul Jalal Khalaf was appointed police chief by the central government with the task of taking on the militias. he has been outspoken against the targeting of women by the militias. Talking to the BBC, he said that his determination to tackle the militia has led to almost daily assassination attempts. This has been taken as sign that he is serious in opposing the militias. 2008. In March 2008, the Iraqi army launched a major offensive, codenamed Salat al-Fawzan, aimed at forcing the Mahdi army out of Basrah. The assault was planned by General Mohan Furaji and approved by Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. In April 2008, following the failure to disarm militant groups, both Maj Gen Abdul Jalil Khalaf and General Mohan Furaji are removed from their positions in Basrah. On September 11, 2008, during a routine tour of Basrah, Captain Rogers Johnson found up to 200 malnourished and disease-stricken Iraqi detainees locked in a secret prison in Basrah. The Commissioner Unregistered Trademark spokesman, Ahmed Amar, stated that many of the detainees bore signs of torture. The prison is operated by the Defense Ministry, and none of the inmates have ever been tried or given access to legal assistance. Amar said that the 200 prisoners only had access to one flooded and dirty latrine, and the Commission has demanded the authorities shut down the prison immediately. 2014, Basrah was scheduled to host the 2014 Gulf Cup of Nations. The tournament would have been held in Basrah Sports City. Basrah Sports City is a newly built multi-use sports complex. The tournament was shifted after concerns over preparations and security. Iraq was also due to host the 2013 tournament, but this was moved to Bahrain instead. Geography and climate: Basrah is located on the Shatt al-Arab waterway, downstream of which is the Persian Gulf. The Shatt al-Arab and Basrah waterways define the eastern and western borders of Basrah, respectively. The city is penetrated by a complex network of canals and streams, vital for irrigation and other agricultural use. These canals were once used to transport goods and people throughout the city, but during the last 2 decades, pollution and a continuous drop in water levels have made river navigation impossible in the canals. Basrah is roughly 110 km from the Persian Gulf. Basrah has a hot desert climate, like the rest of the surrounding region, though it receives slightly more precipitation than inland locations due to its location near the coast. During the summer months, from June to August, Basrah is consistently one of the hottest cities on the planet, with temperatures regularly exceeding 40 degrees Celsius and approaching 45 degrees Celsius in July. In winter, Basrah experiences mild weather with average high temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. On some winter nights, minimum temperatures are below 0 degrees Celsius. High humidity sometimes exceeding 90% is common due to the proximity to the marshy Persian Gulf. Demographics: in Basrah, the vast majority of the population are ethnic Arabs of the Adnanite or the Courtinite tribes. The main tribes located in Basrah are Al-Imara, Bani Tamim, Bani Asad, Bani Qaib, Bani Malik, Shammah, Bani Khalid, Bani Sa'd, Al-Shawat Nizar, Su'ud, Al-Bo Muhammad, Al-Jabor, Duwasir, Dufa, Shrifat, Al-Badr, Al-Abadi, Ruba Asaid tribes and hundreds of other Arab tribes. In 2006, Muslim adherents were about 85% Shiite and 15% Sunni. A small number of Christians still live in Basrah. There are remnants of the pre-Islamic Gnostic sect of Mandaeans, whose headquarters were in the area formerly called Suqay Sheikh, with a small community of 3,000 people or less. Basrah is also home to a minority of Afro-Iraqi peoples. Cityscape: the Old Mosque of Basrah, the first mosque in Islam outside the Arabian Peninsula. Sinbad Island is located in the center of Shatt al-Arab, near the Menai Makl, and extends above the bridge Khaled and is a tourist landmark. Sayyib's house ruins is the site of the most famous home of the poet Badia Sheikha al-Sayyib. There is also a statue of Sayyib, one of the statues in Basrah done by the artist and sculptor Nada Kajam, located on al-Basrah Corniche. It was unveiled in 1972. Basrah Sports City is the largest sports city in the Middle East, located on the Shatt al-Basrah. Palm tree forests are largely located on the shores of Shatt al-Arab waterway, especially in the nearby village of Abu al-Kasib. Corniche al-Basra is a street which runs on the shore of the Shatt al-Arab. It goes from the Lion of Babylon Square to the Four Palaces. Basra International Hotel is located on the Corniche Street. The only five-star hotel in the city, it is notable for its Shayna Shield-style exterior design. The hotel was heavily looted during the Iraq War, and it has been renovated recently. Sayyid Ali al-Mazuri Mosque, also known as the Mosque of the Children of Amma, is located in the city centre, on Al-Ghazir Street, and it was built for Shia Imam's leader Sayyid Ali al-Musawi, whose followers lived in Iraq and neighboring countries. The fun city of Basra, which is now called Basra Land, is one of the oldest theme park entertainment cities in the south of the country, and the largest involving a large number of games giants. It was damaged during the war, and has been rebuilt. Akora Park is one of the city's older parks. It is located on Al-Basra Street. There are 4 formal presidential palaces in Basra. The Latin Church is located on the 14th of July Street. Indian Market is one of the main bazaars in the city. It is called the Indian Market, since it had Indian vendors working there at the beginning of the last century. Hana Sheikh Bazaar is an old market. It was established by the powerful and famous Hana Sheikh family. Economy. The city is located along the Shatt al-Arab waterway, 55 kilometers from the Persian Gulf and 545 kilometers from Baghdad, Iraq's capital and largest city. Its economy is largely dependent on the oil industry. Iraq has the world's 4th largest oil reserves, estimated to be more 115 billion barrels. Some of Iraq's largest oil fields are located in the province, and most of Iraq's oil exports leave from Al-Basra Oil Terminal. The South Oil Company has its headquarters in the city. Substantial economic activity in Basra is centered around the petrochemical industry, which includes the Southern Fertilizer Company and the State Company for Petrochemical Industries. The Southern Fertilizer Company produces ammonia solution, urea and nitrogen gas, while the SCPI focus on such products as ethylene, caustic chlorine, vinyl chlorine monomer, polyvinyl chloride, low-density polyethylene, and high-density polyethylene. Basra is in a fertile agricultural region, with major products including rice, maize, corn, barley, pearl millet, wheat, dates, and livestock. For a long time, Basra was known for the superior quality of its dates. Basra was known in the 1960s for its sugar market, a fact that figured heavily in the English contract law remoteness of damages case the Heron 2, 1969, 1 AC 350. Shipping, logistics and transport are also major industries in Basra. Basra is home to all of Iraq Euro unregistered trademark S6 ports. Qasr is the main deep-water port with 22 platforms, some of which are dedicated to specific goods. The other 5 ports are smaller in scale and more narrowly specialized. Fishing was an important business before the oil boom. The city also has an international airport, with service into Baghdad with Iraqi Airways the national airline. In religion, Basra has the first mosque built in Iraq. In fiction, in Voltaire's Zadig Basura is the site of an international market where the hero meets representatives of all the world religions and concludes that the world is one large family which meets at Basura. The city of Basra has a major role in H. G. Wells's 1933 future history The Shape of Things to Come, where the modern state is at the center of a world state emerging after a collapse of civilization, and becomes in effect the capital of the world. In the 1940 film The Thief of Baghdad, Ahmad and Abu flee to the city from Baghdad. Ahmad falls in love with the Sultan's beautiful daughter, who is also desired by his enemy, and former Grand Vizier, Jafar. In Scott K. Andrews' Operation Motherland, the second book in the post-apocalyptic Afterblight Chronicles, the character Lee Keegan crash lands his plane in the streets of Basra during the opening chapter. Twin towns are sister cities, Baghdad, Iraq, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Nishapur, Iran, Baku, Azerbaijan, Aqaba, Jordan. See also, List of places in Iraq, Afro-Iraqis, Basra International Airport, Dua Kamel, Basra Reed Warbler, University of Basra, Qasr Port. References Bibliography, Halak, Will. The Origins and Evolution of Islamic Law. Cambridge University Press, 2005, Horting, Gerald R. The First Dynasty of Islam. Routledge. 2nd ed., 2000, Madelung, Wilford. Abd Alabi al-Zubair and the Mahdi in the Journal of Near Eastern Studies 40. 1981 ppA 291 Euro 305. Vincent, Stephen. Into the Red Zone, A Journey into the Soul of Iraq. ISBN 1-890626-57-0. External links, Iraq Interagency Information and Analysis Unit reports, maps and assessments of Iraq's governorates from the UN Interagency Information and Analysis Unit, Iraq Image a Basrah Satellite Observation, 2003 Basrah Map, Boomtown Basrah, Muhammad and the Spread of Islam by Sanderson Beck, The Qadariyya, Mutazila, and Shai, The Textual History of the Quran, Arthur Jeffrey, 1946, Codex of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Arthur Jeffrey, 1936.